Hello and welcome everyone. I am Skiy and you're joining me back here in Automated Realism. Following on from last time, we saw that spin stabilization using aerodynamic fins is a bad idea and betrays the fact that it's been a very long time since I've played. So, I've had some thinking about the rocket design and I think I've come up with some improvements that would hopefully get us to space. So, I'm going to skip ahead until we're loaded into the VAB, unless it happens to take as long as it takes me to dock, in which case I won't need to skip ahead. And we will design this new rocket. There we are. That didn't take very long at all. So, I still think it will be an Aspen class. This will be a second go at the starting rocket design. And we're going to start with what we always do, with some procedural stuff. We do not need a service tank, not yet at least. And engines, I think we are going to stick with the Aerobee, because we do not have any particular requirements for gimballing. Ooh, Veronique. It's a kerosene engine. Interesting. Let's have a look, see. So it's ISP 198 to 249. Its thrust is 49 kilonewtons. Okay. And it doesn't seem to have a gimbal. That might be... And this presumably is the Soviet Aerobee. Yes, that's much larger. Okay, so when we move on to designing larger rockets, we might have a go at using that. So, what design changes do I want to make? Well, first of all, I don't want to add fins that are rotated. That was a bad idea. Also, I'm going to go to a smooth cone, and the top of this I'm going to make... Also this we want 300mm to match that. We want straight for the time being. And I'm thinking, let's go for... oh, wrong one. 1.5 meters again. Now, also I realised yesterday, I'm so used to using the Windows hotkey for Alt to duplicate parts and it wasn't working. I need to be pressing right shift, because Linux, it's not Alt, it's the mod key. So, yes, if any of you have come from Windows and are now using Linux and are confused, it's because the hotkey is, it was never Alt, it was the modifier key. Anyway, we do not need to worry about this core for the moment. I just want to shape. And yes, I want the entire top of this rocket to be avionics, because I realised we were having, we were adding a lot of unnecessary fuel to the top of this. We want to keep our centre of mass lower than the centre of the rocket, but not so high that we become aerodynamically unstable. So that was a small error on my part, and I'm thinking, what sort of shape? Peaked 2, sure, let's give it that. Let's go with round 1 here. So, I'm also going to extend this out to 2 meters. There you go, this is the new design for the Aspen. Let's look at our Delta V stats. None. Oh, of course, because I haven't set up the engine. Speaking of the engine, I'm thinking of switching to the XASR so that we have better atmospheric specific impulse. so that we can hopefully get further up, that is. And of course, aerodynamics, we want a procedural wing, three-way symmetry, yes, and we want it to not be as hideously large. Also, I don't want it to be, there we are, I don't want it to be, oh, I did quite like that, there we go. So, J, let's bring it down, let's bring it in, where's the outside? Bring it way in, there we go. We did not need nearly as large an aerodynamic surface as I built last time, because this rocket is mostly just going to be going up. Let's go for 55 mil. Sure, that'll be fine. I do want it to take slightly, so let's bring these back in. There we go. That looks alright. So, I will deal with that in a second. First thing, we have just these two. We want pressure. Yes. So we've only got 75% utilization, I believe. Yeah, that would be fine. Maybe. We do have a 30-second burn time, which is more than last time, I believe. How long can you last for? 40 seconds. Okay, so we've still got 10 seconds of burn time on the table, which is performance we will use for a later iteration of this. So yeah, if we bump up to, there we go, we can get 1700. I will drop that down to 2.5. Okay. Of course, the most important thing is, what do we want it to look like? I mentioned I am a sucker for the Thor Able, so that is what we're going to paint it as. Although, I do like the colour of the launch. Do we want to rest the tip? Right, we're not in the USA, so we don't want anything that says USA. No, stick with Thor Able. Yeah, I really wish that would connect. Anyway, I believe I can also change... I can colour those. I don't particularly care to. Okay. Also, we need to have some velocity on the launch pad for Ulich. So, we are going to proceed with the coupler up there. So it would be easier just to use. Yeah, no, we'll stick with one of these. We do not want it to be a fillet cylinder, we want it to be a regular cylinder. Let's put the impulse up to 1 kilonewton. Just so we get a bit extra kick. And bring the diameter up to 100 mil. No, 300 mil. I totally remember the size of this booster. And we want very similar aerodynamic surfaces. Wrong button, there we go. I will never get those correct on the first try. But of course, because this is the bottom, we want it to have slightly larger aero surfaces, so that we do not end up having a centre of lift in front of centre of mass, and I will take a look at that after this. So is that everything? Almost. I'm going to press B to automatically lower down, which is a hotkey I learned while reading the wiki after this. And back to our Apollo style launch clamps, which I think look absolutely amazing. So, the final thing that I kept dancing around, avionics. We still want a science call, we still want a starting tech level, because this is just going up, it's very dumb, it has no steering capabilities, we don't expect it to have any steering capabilities. electrical capacity. I'm thinking 1,000, and apply preserve dimensions. Perfect. Oh, that's a megajoule. Right, okay, I forget that this is kilojoules. It's right next to it. I'm very good at reading, I promise. So let's think. We are going to, rather than attaching science on the outside, we are going to find configure experiments. This avionics part has 4 in them, so we can attach a barometer and a thermometer. They require 2 watts apiece, and our telemetry, I'm actually going to turn all of those on by default so that we don't have to worry about it. KOS will be using, I don't remember how to convert electric charge to that. I will call that 25 watts? That seems high. 2.5 watts? I will look up what the conversion rate is and place it somewhere. The avionics is 100 watts, these are both 2 watts apiece. So if KOS is 25 watts, then that's 127 watts, which at 100 kilojoules is, off the top of my head, what's that, about 600 seconds? That is more than enough time, so we don't need any more electrical power. Do we want to double check any other things in here? KOS space, that doesn't matter. We don't have any scripts to put in there yet, but we will work on that in the not too distant future. And okay, so that is our Aspen 2 rocket design. Now, RCS build aid, our centre of mass will not drop very much there, and it will raise there, which is perfect. That's exactly what you want in a sounding rocket. You want it to, the position of the centre of mass, in this case red is dry, yellow is wet, you want that to increase over time, which is part of the reason why most rockets are multi-stage now, because the heavier stage on top will not empty as the stage below it dries out, so your centre of mass will move up the rocket. That's good. If your centre of mass is going down vertically, not down in terms of quantity, which you'd expect if you burn mass. Yes, if your centre of mass is decreasing its vertical position over time, then something is going wrong. Anyway, we want to stage the solid motor with the launch clamps, because solid motors will just start up, we hope. And our engine, we want to... Do we want to hot stage this? No, we will just fire the moment the solid motor finishes, and we will eventually write a KOS script to do this for us. So, save, and that's a much better looking Aspen 2. So, modify. Do we need to change anything to support this? No. Perfect. We want to, oh, I no longer need RCS build aid open, I no longer need MechJeb open. It's kind of upsetting looking at this, knowing that that would be enough to almost reach Kerbal in orbit, and yet we're going to be going basically nowhere on Earth. Dear. Yes, save and launch. Acknowledged. We need to... Oh, I keep forgetting. I haven't actually unlocked this engine yet. Dear. Well, we know we have the performance on the table, so that will be useful later on. Hang on, can we use... No, okay, we do need the pressurized rather. Aspen 2. What are we looking at now? No, that's the wrong one. MJ, Delta V. We haven't actually lost on that much performance, but most of the performance of the upgrade we were using for the XHAL was atmospheric, rough and vacuum, so that'll be fine. Save and launch. We do want to integrate. Where is integration? There we are. It will take 122 days to build this and 12 days to roll out. That is a lot quicker than the previous one. So, I'm going to go back. Oh, that is very loud and very dark. It is still just gone sunset as per previous. I am going to momentarily look at mission control. We have some contracts that I neglected to accept last time. You can take that as meaning I knew our rocket would fail. No, I just completely forgot about them. So yes, we want to reach 8 kilometer and a rate of climb of greater than 50 meters per second. We've built a sounding rocket, it will definitely do that. And the Kármán line, ooh. Are we going to reach 100 kilometers? Maybe. Let's hope for the best, shall we? And administration building. Not the astronaut complex. There we are. We have... yes. Both of these require completing the Kármán line contract. So that is very beneficial to us. So, there was something else I wanted to do while I was here. We could probably tool for our rocket if we wanted to be built faster, but I might investigate that once we have a successful design that we want to repeat. Staffing. We have 5 engineers assigned to Launch Complex 1. We can have a maximum of 10, so I'm going to hire another 5, assign them there, and excellent, you see the Aspen 2 will now be built in 2 and a bit months? 61 days, yeah, 2 and a bit months, perfect. So, do we want more researchers generating 1 science per year? If I hold shift, we can see... this research will be completed in 1953. I'm going to bump that up. Sure, let's go the full 10. So there we go, we're making science a little bit faster. So, I will warp until these are complete, and I will not make you sit through that because it will be very flashy. So I'll see you there when we have rolled out to the launch site. Okay, so welcome back. We have just finished rolling out to the launch pad, and for once it's daytime. What a pleasant surprise. So, why don't we launch this and see what a slightly more successful rocket looks like. Nope. Excellent, here we are. And in classic style, let's open up Aspen 2 and scroll down. There probably is a way to make sure KOS auto opens in the VAB, and I will like to enable that option. We no longer need any of these open, just this. Aspen 2 avionics. Perfect. So, it is lovely weather in Aberporth. Surprisingly, the UK is not known for its great weather. So let's go. We don't need to actually think that's I'm going to turn SAS on, not because our rocket can do anything with it, but just because I don't know, it makes me feel comfortable. Apologies there, had to have a drink. I'm going to lock throttle to 1. Interestingly, I don't know what the actual throttling capabilities of this engine is. Off the top of my head, it can't... yeah, off the top of my head, I don't think it can throttle at all, I want to say, but I will double check that next time I bring the VAB, provided I remember. So, should we have a countdown? 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to zoom away because that is very loud, but look, we are much more successful now. And we've even completed one of our contracts. Perfect. Can we have a look at our science? Oh, something exploded. Excellent. We are waiting for something. We are transmitting, I would assume. Oh, look at this. It looks amazing. So where are we? That's Wales. There's North Wales, Ireland, Cornwall, and just a little bit of France peeking over the horizon. Excellent. Oh, and we've run out of fuel. I wonder what... Yes, so this is another thing to bear in mind with RSS. Real engines don't completely use up fuel. There will always be some left in the tanks, and also they don't always burn evenly. It looks like we managed to get a pretty even mix. But yes, it will never use up all of the fuel if you're playing this. There we go, look, we've transmitted 0.2, 0.3 credits of science. Ah, there's the sun. I will need to investigate why we have no clouds. I'll probably do that in the interim. We are just completing all of the contracts here. And if I shift over to M, our apogee looks to be about 73 kilometers, so we're not quite going to breach the Kármán line yet. Ah, that is very unfortunate. Maybe we can make a quick little redesign of this to increase our fuel load so that we can get up. Should we time warp through? I think we shall time warp through until Apogee. There we are, we were 73. Now we get to watch some explosions. Wonderful. How's our electrical charge holding up? 106 watts. Okay, so that would imply KOS is using about 2, 3, a small number. Okay, I'm going to assume that a milli-electric charge per second is probably 10 watts then. No, other way around. I know what I mean. Anyway, here we are, and this is why I didn't think it was worth putting a parachute on this rocket, because drag is helping out, but nowhere near fast enough. Maybe future sounding payloads we will put a parachute on, but certainly for now, let's just enjoy the explosion, shall we? And... okay. I wasn't expecting that. What do they make this out of that it can survive 200 meters per second? Dear. Well, We've got 10 minutes of electric charge, so we may as well use that up. Can we generate any more science? I doubt it. Yeah, no more science. Okay, so I guess we get to recover this vessel. I wasn't expecting that. We do not want to... Yeah, we just want a normal recovery. The Aspen 2, while great, does need a small amount of redesigning. And there we go. We even got some science for recovering that. I still can't believe we managed to do that. That was very surprising. Anyway, I think we're going to redesign the Aspen 2. Do we continue on to Aspen 3? Sure, we'll call it the Aspen 3. And that will be our vessel that we will hope will breach the Kármán line. We weren't far from it. Only 27 kilometers left. Which sounds like a lot, but of course, the more fuel you put on launch, what am I thinking? That has a minute burn time. That is odd. That only has a rated burn time of... Victor, are you lying to me? Or am I just missing something obvious? It is possible I am missing something obvious. A minute burn time? Really? Sure. Yes, I think we kind of want this engine upgrade, unless there is anything else we can do. Oh, Delta V stats, you're in the way a bit there. We could go for a slightly larger design. No. We could go for another rocket booster. Or we could just go for more fuel. Ah, dear. Can we upgrade the Tiny Tim? I assume we can. It's whether or not we have unlocked it. We can get an extra whole lot of... Oh, we can make it grey. That would be nice. Yes. Sorry. What if I did that? If I called this just the Aspen 2B, and I extended this to 2.6 meters. We didn't need nearly as much electric charge as we had on hand, so I'm actually going to drop this to 75. Because of course, in rocketry, mass is the enemy. I'm also going to close burner checklist because I don't need it for now. Launch. Do we want to integrate, not integrate, sorry, tool any of these things? I'm thinking maybe we do. How many Aspen 2s do we think we're going to launch? No, no. Okay. Integrate. How long will that take to build? 53 days. Okay. Well, I think we're going to launch that next time, but I'm not going to finish that episode here. I think it is time we worked on a little KOS script to launch this for us. That is going to be very loud in the background, isn't it? Yes. Okay, so I'm going to pause that so it's quieter, and we'll get on to some programming of some description. So I'm already on a new branch that I created just this morning for the sounding rocket design, and I'm going to, I can type, push that remotely, except I'm not because I forgot to sign in. I'm very good at this. Dear. It's not like I do this for a job or anything. There we go, we're back. So, what do we want? Should we make a folder for this? Maybe. Can KOS navigate folders? I am going to open up the file IO on the wiki. Always have this open. That is both me saying I always have it open and also a warning to all of you. Please always have the wiki open. It is so useful. I think we are going to make a sounding rocket folder, and in there we are going to make a sounding rocket launch.ks. So, what does this thing need to do? First of all, we need to engage the SMS. We need to throttle to maximum. We need to have some sort of countdown because, of course, when the countdown is complete, we need to stage, and then when thrust reaches 0, okay, when our thrust decreases to 0, we need to stage. With the caveat, don't if we are at the final stage. Excellent. Now we could have some bonus ideas of a pretty altitude display. I can type display. I think that will come in a later version. So I think let's just go down this. Engage SAS, that's easy. We know it's just SAS on. Throttle to maximum. I've been using lock throttle to max to 1. Also, I keep forgetting that unlike SQL, KOS can have lowercase. So I'm going to turn off caps lock. So, countdown, that is very simple. We want to start counting down from 3, maybe? And 2, and 1. Except, no, because we are... And I will actually add this line to here. Excellent. Now, that will just print out all in one go, and we do not want that to happen. We would much prefer if KOS had some sort of sleep capability. So, does it have a time? No, that is... Time is referring to the actual time of the... is it wait? Yes, we want to wait for 1 second. I think it's wait at least. I'm going to bring this up in the wiki. not the wiki, sorry, the docs, just to make sure that flow control wait halts execution for a specified amount of time. Perfect. We could also do things like wait until some condition is met, which I suppose is the equivalent of a while loop with some condition, with an empty loop execution. Here we want to stage. Now, we'll make some magical if statement here. And we will do stage. So what is that if statement? Well, we need to know the current thrust. We have max thrust and available thrust. So what is available thrust? Now these are referring to the thrust of the craft as a whole. We can query specific parts. We're not going to do that just yet. This is part of the cooked control. Again, I have it open here. This is going to be very boring. Hang on, why don't I bring this over here and then you can all see what I'm doing, rather than me constantly being off screen. So, we want thrust. What is... no, we have nothing there. So we want available thrust. You can see I typed it just there. Let's look at available thrust. So this is... there it is. That is looking at what we have possible. What is max thrust? Presumably, that is the maximum capability of the engine. Yes, we want to find some way of determining whether we have some thrusting. So I am going to quickly look through the wiki to find what we want, and we'll get back to you shortly. Ah, okay, I am returning, and it's because I suddenly misunderstood something. Max thrust does what we want. I was just blind. So what we actually want is, rather than an if statement, we want a when statement, because we want this to continue executing as our rocket continues. So we want to, when max thrust, I don't know why that is that case, but sure, is 0, then we want to do some control flow. In this case, we want to have some sort of print staging, I suppose, and stage. Now, KOS triggers are... this is technically a trigger in KOS. That is a piece of code that will run once when the execution conditions are met. Now, for our purposes, we only have one stage, so it doesn't matter. But for a standard KOS trigger, the trigger will no longer be active once it's fired once. So I'm going to add preserve, which means if in the future we have multiple stages, more than 2 that is, this will continue to trigger as we want, because this isn't a while loop, this is actually a trigger technically that we're writing. We haven't done don't if we're at the final stage, but I'm wondering if we even need to. We do, because this will continuously print staging if our max thrust is 0, which will occur when we are at the end. So what we might want to do is, if stage is final, is not final, only then do we preserve. So basically the trigger deletes itself once. Yeah, so we want to have something like that so that the trigger will delete itself when we are at the final stage. So let us. Is there a concept of stage numbers? There should be, because I vaguely remember this occurring. Stage : number, yes. Perfect. Until stage ready, okay. Yeah, this is exactly what we want. Stage : number, and also there should be a way of... Yeah, this is a way of determining all of the things that are in your current stage. How do we determine the number of stages in the rocket? Okay, so a quick bit of reading the wiki later, I stumbled across the concept I remember, vessel stage num. This is exactly what we want. We want to only continue this while the stage is a positive number, because it counts down from the number of total stages in your graft. So we want, I will plonk that out of the way because VS Code will do it anyway. So we want if vessel stage num and we could do is greater than 0. I don't think it particularly matters. You are having issues, but that is fine. So I think, pardon me. So I think this is it, flat. So we will version 1 of the sounding rocket script. Except I won't because I need to add this. So I will add sounding rocket launch, rocket launch v1 same, and I will not do that, I will git add top and git commit -m sounding rocket git. I'm very good at typing, script v1. Okay, so I think I will pull you in the next episode and we can see if this script actually works. And I suspect it might be successful, but if it's not, then it will be a learning experience. And this is a small reminder, of course, that we're not doing reverts to any previous points in time. We are going to be playing as if those buttons don't exist. So, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. So, goodbye.